Well, hello, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's weekly recap is from Monday, December the 23rd, all the way through today, which is December the 31st. And there was no Young and the Restless today, so really through December the 30th. I'm recovering from COVID, y'all. That's why I just, you know what? This is what you got. This is what you got today. And I won't be long because I will start coughing. But I did want to do this New Year's Eve. I wanted to wrap the Young and the Restless up with you, Daily Recap fans. Not too much, as we know, happened. We had everybody celebrating Christmas. We have, let's see, on the 23rd. Ian made contact with Tessa, and of course, such a charmer, and she was impressed by him. Why, I don't know. I would think he's a creepy old man trying to be so charming. Phyllis goes to Sharon's house. Now, when you open the door and you see Phyllis on the other side, and this is Sharon's house, she's barged in before. Would you let Phyllis in? No, you don't let her in because she's not invited. She's only going to come into your space to attack you. She does that in public all the time. No, you don't get to come into my house, chick. You just don't. I'm sorry. But they let her in. She proceeds to rip Sharon up one side, down the other, because she hears now Sharon is taking back her guilty plea. And oh, I'm gonna make your life, I'm gonna, if you get out of this, I'm gonna hunt you down. Oh my goodness. And everybody's just standing there as she's saying all this. And Sharon is just looking at her like, then she finally goes, enough, Phyllis. You come into my home saying this, in front of my family, enough. And so Phyllis says, whatever, whatever, and storms out. And Nick is just standing there telling Sharon, I'm sorry you had to go through this. Well, you know what, Nick? Why did she? Because I think Nick was the one that opened the door with Phyllis on the other side. He should have looked, stepped towards her, closed the door behind him, and said, no, no, not today. Not today, honey. Phyllis. you know, but no, Nick can be useless when he needs to be useless. Um, and then carried on to the next day. Phyllis is rambling to Daniel about Sharon changing her plea and how she's not going to let that happen. And Daniel's like, wait, what? Oh, yeah, you didn't know? Sharon, this is what Sharon does. Sharon yells. She yells. She cries. She makes everything all about her. That's what she does. And when that came out of Phyllis's mouth, I said, well, girl, you just described yourself. That's what you do. The only thing you don't do all the time is cry. Unless you're talking about your kids, oh, you pull a bunch of tears. But you always yell, you always make things about yourself. That's you, Phyllis. So Daniel ends up going over there. He wants to hear Sharon's side of the story. Chance was there. Um, uh, Actually, Nick brought Daniel over. My whole thing is you bringing somebody to another person's house, call them first. You don't just show up at their door like that. What is that? So anyway, Daniel doesn't believe her or doesn't want to believe her, but he's not doing a Phyllis, right? And it was just ridiculous to me. Diane gives Kyle a gift. She gives him a plaque that says CEO, right? And then she gives him a whole stack of old Christmas letters that she wrote to him every single Christmas that they were apart. And that definitely did an emotional blow to Kyle. It kind of hit home. He took a step back and was like, wow, she did think about me all those years. Because, see, he developed in his mind, you walked away and you never gave me a second thought. So he told her, I will read these, but just not right now. not right this second. Because she's like, go ahead and read them. I'm thinking now, right? Um, we have Sharon. Oh, they did convince Chance to read. Well, she and Michael were trying to convince Chance to reopen the case. And we found out Monday, Michael gave news to them that Chance is reopening the investigation. And of course, they're talking about it at New Year's Eve at the Jazz Lounge. Phyllis and Daniel and all of them are there. So you know who hears it. Is that true? And I'm thinking, see, why can't you talk about stuff in private? They're doing what? And then, oh, she's talking about how much Michael is a traitor to her. She, out of everybody, she is never, ever going to forgive Michael at all. And so Summer stands up and says, Mom, don't make a scene. She goes, I'm not going to make a scene. And Christine is there. Um, Michael, I mean, not Michael, Danny was, there's big winter storm. Alan was stormed in at a conference. He couldn't make it back. Um, Danny, his jet was what do you call it? Barred from takeoff because of the weather. Um, but as they're talking, all of a sudden somebody comes up from behind Christine, puts his hands over her eyes, and he goes, "Hello, beautiful." She goes, "You made it." Oh, they're kissing each other. And Phyllis is just sitting there, seething. So it was just like the straw that broke the camel's back for Phyllis. So she gets up and she leaves, and Phyllis says, Mom, she goes, "Don't worry, Summer. Don't worry. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to embarrass you, and I'm not going to embarrass myself." But she storms out of the Jazz Lounge. Now, we have Jordan and Ian putting their plan into motion. Ian drugs Tessa's bottle that she has sitting at the reservation desk. And he tried to pretend like he wanted to get a reservation, but she goes, "Oh, it's New Year's Eve and we're booked out. But I can, put you on the wait list." Because she had to step away for a quick minute. She came back. And um, while he did that, while she stepped away, he drugged her drink. And she came back and she says, "Oh, let me get your number and I'll put you on the list." He goes, "I've already added my number to your tablet." And I thought, well, that's presumptuous of you. This is company property and you picked up the tablet? What? Right? She goes, "Oh, okay. I see. Yes, you did, Mr. Ward." Um, and so he walks out and she takes a sip of her water and he's right here, the Jordan. And a few minutes later, now Abby and Devon are there. Now, I have a question, everybody. This was New Year's Eve, close to 12. That restaurant was 100% empty. For them to be booked out for New Year's, there's a wait list. They didn't have not a customer there. It was only Devon and Abby. There was something wrong with that. People get to their New Year's reservations well before 12. They eat and drink and being merry. And I was like, okay, we low budget on this. So she comes stumbling out and she tells Abby, you know, I'm feeling lightheaded. I really didn't eat today. I'm going to go to the back and I'm going to get a snack. Can you watch the reservation desk? She goes, sure, sure. I mean, okay. So then Tessa comes back, stumbling again, saying, "You know what? I'm not feeling any better." And Abby says, "Well, wait. Do you need to go lay down in the back?" Now, mind you, she could hardly stand. She goes, "Look, you could take a cab and go home. Get a ride, go home. I got this tonight." She goes, "No, but it's just before midnight." She goes, "No, no, no, don't you worry about it." And I'm thinking, for one, sit this girl down. She looked like she's ready to fall out. She goes, "Maybe I just need some air." Do you let her go alone? They sure do. So she stumbles out, and guess who happens to catch her Hey, he's like he's gonna tell her something. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. And he goes, oh, as he catches her. Come on now. And he kind of leans her against the pane there, you know, by where people walk in. And Abby and Devon didn't see none of that. That's so interesting. They weren't watching a doggone thing. Now, Mariah was on her way. Sharon decides she's going out tonight because Faith was invited, but she wasn't going to go with her friends. She was going to stay with her mother to ring in the new year. And Sharon says, nope, I'm going out with my girls. I'm not going to hide. They said, Mom, are you sure? Yes, I am. I'm going to go. I'm going to cut this short because I'm getting a little winded here. And so she goes, Sharon gets dressed up and looking good. Now, mind you, you know the way everybody was looking at her at Crimson Lights, but she seemed to feel because it's New Year's Eve and she's not going to hide, it was going to be great, right? So it shows Sharon getting out the car. Now, Nick says, I'm going to go too. But first, I got to stop by my parents. And I'm thinking, why? He takes Faith with him. So Sharon decides, oh, she's going to meet them there. She's going to go. So Sharon's alone. She gets out of her car. She sets the alarm. Jordan comes up behind her with some chloroform at the restaurant in the parking lot, and not a person sees it. Now, this is New Year's Eve. This restaurant was booked. There should have been all kind of people pulling up. That's crazy, the way they write Young and the Restless. So Jordan's chloroforming her. We've got everybody's in Nick and Nick and what's her name? Faith are with his parents, and Cole and no, not Cole. Claire stopped by because Cole took Victoria out. Victoria's been sick off camera for a while now. She's supposed to be on vacation. But she felt well enough. Cole took her out for a romantic New Year's Eve. Um, Nikki and Victor reminisce, everything. This is gonna be a better year because the beginning of this year was all drunk and filled on Nikki's part. Um, really almost the whole year till what, September? So we also have Adam and Chelsea came by to pick up Connor. They had a cute little back and forth over the ugly sweater she wanted him to wear. He refused to wear it. She couldn't believe it. And Victor noticed how comfortable they are. And he goes, Adam, can I have a word with Chelsea? And he looked at him and he goes, well, I got to go pick up Connor anyway. And Victor said, I was just down there watching him. That boy's a natural. So Victor talks to Chelsea and telling her how he offered Adam the house and he wants her to move in with Adam. Because we know Victor makes arrangements for every couple. And he's just got Chelsea kind of looking. He goes, Adam and I are not a couple. We're good co-parenting Connor, but we blow each other's lives apart when we're together. So Victor's just like, excuse me, y'all. Just think about it. So Adam walks in with Connor and, they leave and he takes Chelsea to Crimson Lights and he's talking to her and he's trying to convince her. He says, I accepted my father's offer for the house. Move in with me, Chelsea. It's a beautiful place. Connor would have so much room and he would be happy there. Chelsea, we need this. Our family needs this. So she's looking at him. Let's face it, Chelsea's going to move in. And my whole thing was, that should be Victoria's house. It's only three of them, Adam, Chelsea, and Connor. At Victoria's cramped place, she's got four people. Claire, Johnny, Katie, and herself. They should have the larger house. That's what I'm that's what I'm talking about. Now what's interesting, everybody, a bit of history. Whose house was where Victoria is? It didn't look like this. This is a remodeled version. Whose place was it originally? Years and years ago. That was actually Victoria's first place. It was called the Tack House. redid the tack house for her, so she felt like she had a little independence. And I honestly believe that was the Victoria that was Heather Tom, the one that's on The Bold and the Beautiful, when she had that place. But that was her place originally. So anyway, that's a little history, and I'm gonna wrap it up with Nate made it to LA. Amy is ridiculous with, oh no, no, no. And you're not gonna tell him I'm here. No, no, no. And because I'm not ready. Something's wrong with that story. What mother is not ready? You went through all of this, getting this man to hiring Nate's footing the bill for the private investigator, tracking down your son. Yet you keep back and forth and back and forth. I don't know how he'll respond to me. I don't. You're his mother. You raised this boy up into a teenager. And you are doing this at the prospect of seeing him after all these years. And why was there so many years? Couldn't handle his father's death, but that don't mean he turned on you unless you killed him, right? I'm not buying Amy's story. So Nate's going to end up devising a story that he hired a headhunter. He's looking for a position at Winters, and he's going to tailor make it to the positions the guy already held so it'd be believable. Watch, that's how we're going to integrate him into the Winters family. Now, I hope they don't make him for Lily. I hope not. Because, see, something don't seem right with this guy. And I see that happening. I honestly do. So he's going to make contact with him. He's getting ready to leave to go meet him. So, all right, everybody, that is it because I've lost my talking ability. Everybody have a happy and safe new year, and I will be back after the new year.